ICE at your door, what to do and what not to do. Maria was home with her 2 young children when she heard the knock. 3 people in green jackets, ICE at her door. She didn't know whether to open it, call someone, run, or freeze. What she did next would determine whether she stayed with her family or was taken into custody that morning. According to recent reports, ICE arrests have surged to over 1,000 per day across the country, and Texas is one of the hardest hit states. If you don't know your rights, you are vulnerable. I'm Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch, an Austin immigration attorney who has represented over 10,000 families. Here is exactly what to do if ICE comes to your door. The first thing you need to understand is that your constitutional rights apply to you inside your home regardless of your immigration status. The Fourth Amendment protects everyone in this country from unreasonable searches and seizures. That protection does not disappear based on where you were born or what documents you have. The government does not get to pretend otherwise, even in the current enforcement climate. Knowing this is the foundation of everything else I'm about to tell you. Do not open the door. This is the single most important thing. Do not open the door. If officers have a judicial warrant, they have legal authority to enter. The key is identifying whether or not they have one. You do not have to let ICE into your home without a judicial warrant signed by a judge. A lot of people don't know there are 2 kinds of warrants. There is an administrative warrant, which is a piece of paper ICE officers carry and can sign themselves. And there is a judicial warrant, which is issued and signed by an actual federal or state court judge. Only the second one gives them the legal authority to enter your home. The administrative warrant is not enough. You are allowed to say, through the closed door, I am not letting you in without a judicial warrant signed by a judge. You are allowed to ask them to slide the warrant under the door. You are allowed to look at it before you decide anything. You can do all of this without opening the door. Keep the door closed and keep your voice firm. How to identify what kind of warrant it is. If they slide something under the door, look at it carefully. A judicial warrant will have the signature of a federal judge or magistrate. It will name a specific person and usually specify a location to be searched. An ICE administrative warrant is signed by an ICE official, not a judge. It looks official, it has government letterhead, but it does not give them the right to come into your home. What does a judicial warrant actually look like so you know the difference? At the top, you will usually see the name of the court, something like United States District Court. There will be a case number. At the bottom, there will be a signature line that says United States Magistrate Judge or United States District Judge. An ICE administrative warrant, by contrast, is signed by an immigration officer or supervisory immigration officer. These titles are not judges. That distinction is the entire legal question. ICE officers sometimes carry both types of paperwork at once. Having an administrative warrant in hand does not mean they do not also have a judicial one. You are entitled to see all of it. Ask directly through the closed door. Do you have a judicial warrant signed by a judge? Make them answer that question specifically. If they hand you a stack of papers, go through all of it before you make any decision. If the document is in English and you cannot read it well, you still do not have to let anyone in. You can say, I need to call my attorney before I make any decision. Ask a family member or older child to help you read it if they can. But do all of this through the closed door. The document can be read without any contact, and contact is not required. If you're not sure what you're looking at, do not let them in. Ask them to wait and call an immigration attorney immediately. If you have a Know Your Rights card near the door, this is the moment to use it. If you do not have one yet, by the time this video is over, you will know how to get one. Stay calm and stay silent. You have the right to remain silent. That right applies to everyone inside this country, including people who are undocumented. You do not have to answer questions about where you were born, how you entered the country, whether you have papers, or where other family members are. If an officer asks you anything, you say, I am exercising my right to remain silent. That is it. You do not need to explain. You do not need to apologize. You do not need to justify that statement to anyone. If there are other people in your home, especially children, do not send them to the door. Do not let them answer questions. Even children have the right to remain silent if they enter anyway. If ICE forces entry into your home, do not physically resist. I know how frightening that is, but physical resistance can escalate a situation in ways that become much harder to undo. If they push in, say clearly and out loud, I do not consent to this search. Say it more than once. Say it in front of witnesses if you can. Keep saying it. That statement matters later, both in immigration court and in any legal challenge to how the entry was conducted. Do not interfere with their movement in the home. Do not touch officers or their equipment, but also do not help them. You're not required to open drawers, point to anything, or answer questions about what is in your home. Silence is not obstruction. Your right to record. In most situations, you have the right to record law enforcement on your phone. In Texas, you can record in public and you can generally record through a window or doorway without interfering with the officers. The moment recording starts, officers often become more careful about how they proceed. It also creates a record. If a family member can safely start recording without putting themselves at risk, that documentation can matter enormously later in court. Do not wave the phone at officers or make it confrontational. Just keep recording. Let the record speak for itself. What to say and what not to say. Do not lie to federal officers. Lying creates criminal exposure on top of your immigration situation, and it's not worth it. But staying completely silent is completely different from lying. Staying silent is your right. If an officer tells you that you have to answer, that is not true. You do not have to answer questions without an attorney present. Do not sign anything. ICE may present you with papers and ask you to sign. You do not have to sign anything before speaking with a lawyer. Signing documents, especially voluntary departure paperwork, can permanently affect your ability to return to the United States. Voluntary departure in particular can close legal doors you did not know were open. Do not sign it without understanding exactly what it means for your case. Your emergency plan. Here is what I recommend to every family. Build your emergency plan before anything happens. Pick a trusted person outside your home who can take your children if you are detained. Write down your attorney's phone number, your consulate's phone number, and a trusted neighbor's phone number. Put that list somewhere in your home where your kids can reach it. Teach older children what to say and what not to say. Practice it. Let them hear the sentences out loud. I am not going to answer questions without an attorney. I need to call our emergency contact. Those words should feel familiar before they're ever needed. If there are U.S. citizen children in the home, they have rights too. They cannot be deported, but they can be separated from a parent who is detained. Having a plan for who takes care of them, who has legal authority to pick them up from school, who has access to their medical records and documents is not pessimistic. It is responsible parenting in the current climate. A limited power of attorney for a trusted adult is something an immigration attorney or notary can help you put in place. It is a document that says, if something happens to me, this person is authorized to care for my children. For many families, that document is the single most important piece of preparation they can do right now. One more thing on documentation. Photograph your own documents and store copies in the cloud or with a trusted person outside your home. If you are detained and your documents are in the house, your attorney will need access to them. A photo of your green card, your visa, your passport, your children's birth certificates, your employment records, all of that can matter later. It is 5 minutes of work that can make an enormous difference. Know Your Rights cards are available in Spanish and English from legal aid organizations and ACLU chapters across Texas and nationally. Print one. Keep it near the front door. You should not have to think clearly under pressure. The card does that thinking for you. If a family member is detained. If ICE takes someone from your home, write down every detail you can. Badge numbers if visible, the time, what was said, what paperwork was shown, which direction they went, what vehicle they used. Contact an immigration attorney immediately. ICE is legally required to tell you where a detained person is being held. You can also search using the ICE online detainee locator, which is available in English and Spanish. Getting an attorney involved quickly is critical because bond hearings, transfer decisions, and early procedural steps happen fast. Detention can also mean rapid transfer to a facility far from your city. The sooner an attorney is involved, the more options remain available. What this is really about. What ICE is doing right now is not random. Enforcement is targeting communities, workplaces, schools, and homes. Texas has been one of the highest enforcement states in the country. The stated goal of mass enforcement is to create a climate of fear, to make people stay inside, not send their kids to school, not go to work, not go to the doctor. Fear is part of the enforcement strategy as much as any individual arrest. You knowing your rights is not law-breaking. It is the Constitution working exactly as it was designed. The Fourth Amendment applies to your home. You are allowed to protect it. And the best time to learn how is before you ever hear that knock. If you want to understand what happens after ICE makes an arrest and what options people actually have, watch my video on removal orders. The link is right here. If any of this applies to you or your family, talk to an immigration attorney as soon as possible. At Lincoln-Goldfinch Law, we represent families across the country. Visit Lincoln-Goldfinch.com. Subscribe so you do not miss what is coming.